Hey, what's going on, guys? Zevix here, also known as Azzy. This is one of my first ever kind of like guide videos. I'm doing it to where it is for basically the audience of those who are brand new to DVD. Those who don't really know much about the game, they're still learning it. They still get those jump scares, you know. I'm 100% okay if there's any other advice that anybody who has played the game would like to add. Go ahead, you can please post it in the comments, and I will also post my links to my Discord, my Twitch. That way you can also come into my channels and give me ideas as well. Also, if you find this video very helpful, give you some information, you like it, don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below. Give me a like, and from there, let's go ahead and get into this. I hope you guys enjoy it. Here we go. Alright, so first thing we're going to look at is certain perks, teachable and non-teachable perks that will help you with more map awareness and help you learn a little bit more of how Survivor works, how the killer works, and hopefully help you be more successful in the games. First perk we're actually going to look at are two non-teachable perks that you do not have to learn on a survivor. What I mean by teachable perks is each survivor has their 3 specific perks that they have that only they know, that you have to unlock through the blood web at 30, 35, and 40. That way they become teachable for other survivors. But right now we're going to look at these first 2 perks. The first 2 non-teachable perks that I believe that are really helpful, really will help you learn. First one is Spine Chill. If the killer is looking directly in your direction within 36 meter range, Spine Chill will become active. It'll trigger the odds of a skill check by 10% more. The success zones are reduced by 10%, and you also get an increase of speed through repairing, sabotaging, healing, unhooking, vaulting, cleansing, opening gates, and unlocking by 6%. It's a very good perk when it comes to being aware of where if the killer is looking in your direction. Alright, so first perk we're looking at is Spine Chill. And again, like how Spine Chill works, if the killer is within a certain proximity, 36 meters, the little icon on the bottom right will light up. There's the killer. Boom. Alright, now you've seen that. Next perk we're going to look at is Kindred. The way Kindred works, it's a very useful perk to let your teammates know and let you specifically know what is going on when somebody gets hooked. So if a survivor is hooked, the killer's aura is revealed for 16 meter range around the hook. Because it's your perk, will be able to see what your teammates are doing as well while that survivor is hooked. So it can help you make a decision. Do I finish what I'm doing? Is there a teammate already going for the unhook to save that person? Or do I need to go? Now when you get hooked, it flips it. All your teammates can see if the killer is within 16 meter range of you, and they can see all the other survivors that are currently on the map and see what they're doing to make the decision. Do I need to go save this person yet? Can I save this person? What do we need to do? So now the next perk that we're looking at is Kindred. Again, how Kindred works: when its teammate goes down and they are hooked, you can see the killer's aura for 16 meters, and you can see all other survivors within the area. There's the killer. Now left, that means pretty much safe to go do an unhook. As you can see, now I get hooked, kill his aura, and there's my teammate. Now, because I am on hook, every other survivor that would be on the map can see everybody's aura. Okay, so the next thing we're going to look at is teachable perks that are free, meaning you don't have to pay for the DLC or the character using orc cells or shards to get these survivors and their perks teachable for other survivors. One of the first perks we're looking at with this one is Bond, which the way Bond works is unlocks the potential of one aura reading ability. Allies' auras are revealed to you when they are within 36 meter range. The reason why I kind of recommend this for newer players is it kind of lets you know if you're getting chased by the killer or you need to try and find your teammates. If you're running around, you will see their aura in like a little yellow color. That way you can either decide whether to keep running that way or run an opposite way if possible, if you're getting chased, or run towards them if you need healed, or if they need healed, or if they're working on a generator to help them get the generator done. Kind of like Kindred, but you don't get to see the whole map if someone's hooked or if you are hooked. Alright, so we're going to look at the perk Bond. And basically, when you're running around, you can see the aura of your teammates within 36 meters of each other, and basically see if they're doing a gen, healing each other. Look for them to be able to try and find where they are at. Right there we see one of our teammates. Looks like they're doing a gen. Go over here, and we'll join them. The next perk we're going to talk about is Sprint Burst and Dead Hard. First off, is Sprint Burst. It's good starter like exhaustion perk. A lot of people even use it now in the higher ranks, red ranks, and all that. Basically, the moment you start running, so the moment you press shift or I think it's right bumper or left bumper on Xbox or PS4, you will get a 150% speed boost for 3 seconds. And then you become exhausted, which means you can't use the perk again for 40 seconds. And the way an exhaustion perk works is if you are exhausted, if you are sprinting, the timer stops. So you have to be walking or not moving for the timer to replenish so you can use your perk again. So Sprint Burst is just really nice basically if you're just walking and then the killer just all of a sudden just comes up out of nowhere and right behind you. You just press shift, you start running, and you're like 150% faster, so you get basically a faster head start. You can get further ahead quicker. Alright, now we're going to look at Sprint Burst, an exhaustion perk. Basically, once you press sprint and you start running, you get 150% increased speed for 3 seconds, which makes it easier for you to get away from the killer straight away and get a head start. So we'll show you how it works. There you are. And basically what you'll want to do is if you're running, you do not lose your exhaustion status, so you'll want to walk or not move, but obviously if you're getting chased, you kind of want to run. But other than that, that is Sprint Burst. Next perk, Dead Hard, another exhaustion perk from David. Sprint Burst was from Meg. Dead Hard is a nice second chance perk. Again, tier 3, 40-second exhaustion cooldown. But this only activates if you are injured and you have to press a button to actually activate this perk. Basically, you have to be sprinting, you have to be holding your sprint button, and most of the time you'll do it to either Dead Hard for distance to get to a pallet faster, or Dead Hard to avoid a killer's hit. It is useful. There is the joke of I am a Dead Hard to the ground, because a lot of times you'll hit Dead Hard and you still get hit. but that's just a joke. That's just a thing that goes on in the DVD community. But yeah, it's a good perk that I think is good for a lot of beginners to learn, to help them keep going a little bit more, give them a second chance to fix if they messed up or anything like that. Okay. All right, so now we're going to look at the perk Dead Hard. An exhaustion perk will only activate when you are injured. You do have to be sprinting, and then you press the button to actually rush forward to dodge a swing or fix a mistake you've done, or to dead hard for distance to possibly get to a pallet, which we will show you here. There you go. Now our next perk is Borrowed Time. It is a Bill teachable from Left 4 Dead. Love it. Basically what Borrowed Time does is if you have a survivor on a hook and the killer is within the tear radius of the hook, meaning you can hear the heartbeat, and you unhook that survivor with Borrowed Time, like you have Borrowed Time, they have 15 seconds where they can take a hit, and it puts them in like what's called a deep wound state, where if the killer were to hit them, they get a boost forward like they would if they just got injured, but they have a mending bar, and if they're not running, will slowly deplete, and if they do not mend by the time that bar depletes, they go into a dying state. So they'll take a hit, hopefully the killer's not chasing them, they will mend themselves, and they're good. You did a safe unhook because of this perk. It's really good, especially if you going against a killer who's, wouldn't say tunneling, but is like trying to apply pressure, so they hit them, or they're trying to get that person down and they want to keep going. It helps you save that survivor, at least try to. Alright, so now we're going to look at the perk Borrowed Time. And basically the way Borrowed Time works is when a survivor is hooked and you unhook that survivor, they get Borrowed Time, which makes it to where they can take a hit and it puts them in a deep wound state, but does not put them in a dying state, and they can continue on without getting put down. But then they would have to mend to be able to stop themselves from falling into a dying state. So here we will show you how it's done. Make sure the killer's in the tear radius. And now they can go. Alright. Now we're going to show you it from my perspective, what it looks like when a survivor with Borrowed Time unhooks me. So, you get hooked. As long as the killer is within tear radius, when I get unhooked, I will get Borrowed Time. You'll see it on the right side. I can take a hit, get running. Now you notice the screen is darker. This is what it looks like when you're in the deep wound state. And if I stop running, my little yellow timer underneath my name on the left side of my screen will start to count down. If that hits 0, I will be put into a dying state, which means I would have to be healed to get back up. But you'll want to mend yourself as soon as you can. Now the last free teachable perk I suggest trying to learn is another Bill perk. It's called Unbreakable, or Unbreakable as we like to call it. Basically, if you were in the dying state and the killer decides to leave you on the ground, also known as slug you, you get a 35% increase in recovering, and one time per trial you can get yourself up back up standing into an injured state without another survivor having to help you. This is a very clutch perk. Comes in clutch if the killer is slugging, or there's certain circumstances where it'll even work better with some just things that are going on. It's a very nice perk, and it can be very well implemented into the game. It's also considered a meta perk that with DS as of right now until they do a DS change. Basically, Unbreakable with DS, if you just get off the hook and a killer hits you down, you literally have a minute to where the killer pretty much can't touch you. You either Unbreakable and get up and keep going, or the killer picks you up and you DS them with DS and keep going. But I personally don't like DS myself. I don't enjoy using it. I don't really use Unbreakable, but it is a good perk to help you learn more about what happens if a killer slugs you and what you can do if you have this perk. Alright, so now we're going to look at Unbreakable. The way Unbreakable works, you get knocked down into a dying state. You can get yourself back up without any help from another survivor, and you recover from a dying state 30% faster. So here we'll show you how it's done. Instantly start recovering. And then normally right around here it'll say need help, and get up and go. Easily done. Now the next thing we are going to look at is more teachable perks, but that are DLC perks. So something you would either have to pay money or unlock the character using Auric cells or shards to get the survivor to get their teachable perks. The first one I suggest for new players, and I highly recommend it, is a perk called Windows of Opportunity. It is a Kate perk. The DLC is called the Curtain Call DLC. And the reason why I think this is an amazing perk for especially new players is it lets you see within a 20-meter range any windows or pallets that are droppable within that 20-meter range. It's great to let you know and teach you more about looping the killer and where you can go to try and keep yourself safe while you're getting chased. It also shows you breakable walls now. That is a new thing that was added recently, a while back, to the game. It is very useful, very nice. I highly recommend this if you're trying to basically learn the map. Because of knowing where windows and pallets are, it's going to help you survive. Alright, so now we're looking at the perk Windows of Opportunity from Kate Denson. Basically, you run around and you can see all windows and pallets and breakable walls that are vaultable, droppable, all that kind of jazz. So it makes it easier for you to know where possible loopable areas are and help keep yourself safe from the killer by knowing a step ahead to know where to go. Makes it a whole lot easier for you. Alright, so my last perk that I'm going to suggest is a perk called Alert. It is a Feng Min perk from the DLC of Spark of Madness, where you get Feng Min and the Doctor. And the reason why I like this perk is it's just kind of it's a little different. And the way it works is if the killer were to do a break action, meaning breaking a pallet, breaking a breakable wall, damaging a generator, anything like that, you will see the killer's aura for 5 seconds no matter where they are on the map, unless they are a stealth killer. Meaning stealth as in Michael Myers in tier 1, Pig crouching, Ghostface stalking, Wraith cloaked. Any of them that are like that where you technically can't see them or hear their terror radius when you are within their terror radius, this perk will activate and let you see their aura in a pink aura for 5 seconds to know where they're at. This mixed with Windows of Opportunity, it kind of gives you the best of both worlds a little bit. So you can see the windows and pallets, and then if the killer were to break the pallet that you just broke, you can see what that killer, where that killer is going and what that killer is doing for 5 seconds. Alright, finally we're going to look at the perk Alert. Again, the way Alert works is anytime a killer does any sort of breaking action, you see that aura for 5 seconds. That way you can kind of know where the killer's at for yourself at all times. As you see there, he is breaking a, looks like a pallet. That action was a breakable wall, I do believe. And there you are. Alright. So now we're going to get into a little bit more of the map awareness, looping, knowing pallets, and just a little bit of learning a little bit about the game. Obviously, the more you play the game, the more you'll learn, the more you'll know. One of the biggest tips I can tell you is at the edge of the map here, near the wall, it is not your friend. It will not help you much at all. Most killers will see scratch marks up on the wall here, and there's really nothing to help you save yourself if you were in a loop. Kind of want to stick around more of these loops like the LT walls or anything that has a pallet or anything like that to help you get away from the killer as much as you can. If you're on the edge of the map, there's really not anything safe for you to run around. Alright, next little thing is a little bit of info on gens. Gens can have up to 1, 2, 3, and 4, all 4 survivors on a gen at one time. If you are a solo survivor on a gen by yourself, it will roughly take you about 80 seconds to do the gen solo. 2 people on gen is 45 seconds, so almost completely in half. After that, 3 is 34 seconds, and 4 is right around 30 seconds. So there's really no point to have more than 2 people on a gen, just because it's not a big difference in time, and having more people on other gens helps you get the gens done a little bit faster to help you possibly escape and get out of the game easier. And then one more small little info is when you are hooked, or when a fellow survivor is hooked, there is technically 3 stages of being hooked. The first stage is where you are just hooked and you're just hanging there. Nothing's really happening. You're kind of just waiting to be unhooked. As you can see, my teammate got hooked. They have the red bar and it is slowly counting down. It's a minute per time on hook before you get to the next stage of being on hook. The second time you would get a hook, or if you were to get into second state, you go into what's called the struggling state, to where you have to basically fight off the entity from sacrificing you. We'll show you here what this looks like. The entity is summoned on the second hook, and you are spamming, it's whatever button you have bound for your struggle. So it is different for console and PC, and what you changed it to, but you will constantly have to keep spamming this button for a whole minute until you are unhooked or you get put into a dying state. If you are unhooked, you'll get sacrificed, or let's say you get hit again and it's your last hook. As you can see on the left side of the screen, the tally marks, which is now new to the game, which I love. Get to see how many times the survivor got hooked. This is the 3rd time she's been hooked. So she is now instantly sacrificed to the entity and out of the game. Alright, so the next thing we're going to look at is trying to learn about looping, kind of knowing your surroundings with the jungle gyms and everything that's around you. So jungle gyms like this, you kind of want to just run it. One of the best places is if you were to loop vault over this. Let's say you're getting chased, which I'll have my killer friend help me here. Being like right here is a good place because you can see their red stain on both sides. Jeremy. Let's see, it came from that direction, so I can run this way. And I'll loop it here. We decide to vault, so keep going. We'll go this way. Probably could make it around again, but we'll go ahead and drop the pot. Good. And we keep going. So now we look around our next loop here. We'll go ahead and use Shack. So you want to try to hug the wall as much as you can. But he vaulted there. So the main point of this is just trying to keep the pallets up as long as you can and getting the killer to be committed to you as long as possible. Now we'll look at this LT wall. So paying attention to the red stain, looking behind you, will help you know where the killer is, which way the killer is going. So right there you could just moonwalk backwards. So chasing, go here. And then I personally believe we have time, so I ran this way. And for a second we lost. There we go. So you either saw us or you saw scratch marks. Basically just trying to learn as much as you can with the looping, learning the jungle gyms, and paying attention to the killer's red stain. Right now we don't really have a pallet to save us, to slow down the killer. So we gotta try, and sometimes taking a hit is the best thing to do to get yourself to a safe spot. And helps you get a little boost ahead. So now we're in this jungle gym. It's a little bit different. You want to always approach this window from this side. You went that way. And try and run these as much as you can. You can do little cheeky tricks. Oh, and right there he would have got me. So just knowing jungle gyms best you can, learning them, and not sitting here at this pallet and waiting for the killer to come towards you and then instantly dropping the pallet and wasting it wastes less time. You want to waste as much of the killer's time as possible to where gens can get done or the killer ends up leaving you. That's pretty much it. Next little thing I want to show you is that if you get put down and you don't have anything near you, recover. That's the best thing you can do, is just recover. Get yourself to the point that way when one of your survivors' teammates can come get you, they don't have to waste time trying to heal you to get you up. Recover to where it says find help, and then move to where you make it faster for your teammate to come and save you. And that way you can just get up and go. And there you are. Alright guys, that's pretty much it. I hope you enjoyed this video. Quick little recap. The perks I suggest again is Spine Chill and Kindred, which are non-teachable perks that automatically show up in your blood web. Teachable perks that I recommend: Bond, Dead Hard, Sprint Burst, Unbreakable, and Borrowed Time, which Bond is from Dwight, Dead Hard from David, Sprint Burst from Meg, and Borrowed Time and Unbreakable from Bill. And then the DLC Survivor perks that I recommend, highly recommend, is Windows of Opportunity, which is the Curtain Call DLC, and Alert from the Spark of Madness DLC. Those are the perks I recommend. I do hope you guys learned a little bit from those and hope they help you in your games. Recap on hook time. Total hook time for a survivor is 2 minutes if they are completely not touched at all, not unhooked, anything like that. Don't try to escape or anything like that. Or 1 minute per stage per hook. Total hooks can be hooked 3 times. Third hook is a death hook. Next is a recap on gens. If you're on a gen by yourself, it is 80 seconds. Duo is 45. 3 people is 34. And 4 is roughly around 30. Again, I do recommend only 2 people be on gen at a time. It just kind of is pointless to have more than 2, in my opinion. Other than that, I hope the video was helpful. Hope you learned a little bit. Hope you learned a little bit about looping and knowing edge map is not your friend. And when you are downed, recover. If you can get to a pallet, do it. It makes it easier for you. But if you can't, just recover. Makes it easier for your teammates to come to you and help get you up faster the more you're recovered. But other than that, thank you guys again so much for watching this video. It did take a lot of time to make, so if you could, again, hit that like button and leave a comment. Let me know what you thought. Give me any tips or advice if you've played the game before and you know a little bit about it. Other than that, thank you guys so much, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day.